The dust
We have to
kicked
move
up
now.
in small
Okay, but where
clouds
to?
as the
The truck. Stay
18-wheeler
close.
rolled
I'm
to a
with you.
stop at the edge of the lot.
Stay close to
Harper
me.
Brennan
I
stood
will.
perfectly
Where are we
still
going?
near the
Somewhere
diesel
safe. Now
pumps,
move.
counting her breaths the way her
Stay
mother had
close.
taught her before
They're
the
almost
coughing
past.
got
I'm
too bad to
scared.
speak.
I know. We'll be okay.
1, 2, 3. Her
See
red
this
jacket
bolt?
hung loose
That's
on
the
her
one.
This
small
one? Okay.
frame. The
Right.
fabric
Now,
faded
turn it
from too many
clockwise.
Like
washes.
this?
Sleeves
Perfect.
pushed up past her elbows despite the
I
autumn
have to
chill
go now.
creeping across
Okay,
the
Daddy.
Nebraska
I'll
plains.
be back soon.
She was 10 years old.
It's going
she
to be
had walked
okay.
4
I was
miles
so
to get here.
scared.
I know.
The truck
I'm here now.
stop sat
I
at the
love you.
junction of Route 40 and County Road 7, a sprawl of concrete and flickering neon that promised hot coffee and clean restrooms to travelers who'd been driving too long. Harper had never been inside. She'd only seen it from the highway when her father drove past, his hands tight on the wheel, radio turned up loud enough to drown out her breathing in the back seat. Today she hadn't come for coffee. 5 motorcycles sat in a rough line near the back fence chrome, catching the late afternoon sun. Their riders stood in a loose cluster, men in leather vests and worn denim cleaning road dust from their bikes with rags that had seen better days. They moved with the easy rhythm of people who'd done this 1,000 times before, no hurry, no wasted motion. Harper walked toward them. Her sneakers were 2 big hand-me-downs from a girl at school whose mother worked at the church donation center. They made soft, scuffing sounds on the asphalt. One of the men looked up as she approached, then another. By the time Harper stopped 10 feet from the nearest bike, all 5 were watching her. The silence stretched. Somewhere behind her, a truck engine started. Harper didn't turn around. The man closest to her had long gray hair tied back with a leather cord, a scar cutting through his right eyebrow like a pale question mark. He was maybe 55, maybe older, with the kind of weathered face that came from years of wind and sun and roads that never quite led home. His vest had patches sewn onto the back, words Harper couldn't read from where she stood. He straightened slowly, set down the rag he'd been using, and looked at her. Really looked at her. His eyes moved from her face to the fresh split on her lower lip, still red at the edges, then past her to the parking lot behind. Harper knew what he was seeing. The old pickup truck idling near the exit windows tinted dark, someone sitting motionless behind the wheel. She kept her eyes locked on the man with the scar. "You make bad people disappear." Her voice came out steadier than she'd expected. She'd practiced the question in her head during the walk, turned the words over and over until they felt smooth enough to speak out loud. The man with the scar didn't answer right away. He took one step forward, then crouched down so they were eye to eye. Up close, Harper could see the lines at the corners of his eyes, the gray stubble on his jaw, the way his hands rested loose and easy on his knees. "Depends on who," he said. His voice was quiet, rough, like gravel under tires. "Someone bad," Harper said. The man glanced past her again. The truck engine was still running low, idle exhaust curling in the cooling air. "That truck yours?" Harper shook her head. "You know who's in it?" She nodded. The man stayed crouched. Behind him, the other 4 bikers had stopped pretending to work. They stood watching now, hands at their sides, positioned in a loose half circle. One of them, younger than the rest, with close-cropped blonde hair and a jawline that looked carved from stone, took 2 steps toward the truck before the man with the scar raised his hand slightly. The younger man stopped. "What's your name?" the scarred man asked. "Harper." "How old are you?" "10. He looked at the cut on her lip again. Looked at her jacket, bright red and mostly clean except for dirt ground into the sleeves. Her jeans were torn at both knees, not the fashionable kind of torn, but the kind that came from falling. Or being pushed. "Where are your parents?" he asked. Harper looked down at her feet. "My mom's gone. My dad's in the truck." The man's expression didn't change. He just watched her face, waiting. He heard you, Harper said, not a question. Today, this morning. The man looked back at the truck. It hadn't moved. The driver wasn't getting out, wasn't doing anything, just sitting there with the engine running like he had all the time in the world. "Why'd you come over here?" the man asked. Harper reached into her jacket pocket. Her hand was shaking. She pulled out a folded piece of paper creased and worn soft from being opened and closed too many times. She held it out. The man took it carefully, unfolded it with thick fingers that moved more gently than Harper had expected. It was a math worksheet, problems written in pencil, her handwriting small and neat. At the top, in red pen, her teacher had written Harper B. Please see me after class. Below that in the margins, someone had written in black ballpoint, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. The man folded the paper back up. He handed it to Harper. She took it and shoved it deep into her pocket. Did you tell anyone? He asked. I told my teacher, Harper said. She called someone. They came to my house. She paused. My dad said I was lying. The man stayed quiet. He said if I told again, Harper continued, her voice dropping, no one would ever find me. The man looked at her for a long moment. Then he stood up, turned to face the truck, and said one word to the men behind him. Wade. It took Harper a second to realize he was telling her his name. The other bikers moved without Wade saying anything else. The younger one walked left, positioning himself near the edge of the building where he could see both the truck and the highway. Two others spread right, one older with silver at his temples, one built like he'd spent time in a boxing ring. The fifth man, graying beard and kind eyes, stayed near Harper, but didn't get too close. Wade walked toward the truck. He moved slowly, hands visible, no sudden movements. When he got within 15 feet, the truck door opened. A man stepped out, Harper's father. Victor Brennan was 43, but looked older, face red from heat and anger that never quite cooled. He wore work boots caked with mud, jeans stained with oil, flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up over thick forearms. His neck was heavy, his hair cut military short, his jaw set in a way Harper knew meant trouble. That's my daughter, Victor said. His voice carried across the parking lot loud enough for everyone to hear. Wade stopped walking. She says you heard her, Wade said. She's a liar, Victor said. You got no business talking to her. Wade didn't respond. Harper, Victor called out. Get in the truck. Harper didn't move. The man with the beard stepped slightly closer to her, not touching, just there. Victor's jaw tightened. He took one step forward. Harper, now. She's not going anywhere, Wade said. Victor looked at Wade like he was seeing him for the first time. Really seeing him. His eyes moved from Wade's face to the vest, to the other bikers spread out across the lot, to the fact that he was one man and they were five. You don't know what you're getting into, Victor said. Wade didn't answer. Victor looked past Wade at the bikers. They hadn't moved, but they were positioned now, watching, waiting. The smile that had started to form on Victor's face died before it reached his eyes. This is kidnapping, Victor said. I'll call the cops. Go ahead, Wade said. Victor pulled out his phone. He held it up like he was about to dial, finger hovering over the screen. He looked at Harper again, then at Wade, then back at his phone. He lowered it slowly. She's coming with me, Victor said. One way or another. Wade took one step forward. Just one. No. Victor's hand dropped to his side. For a moment, Harper thought he might actually try something, might charge at Wade, or pull out whatever he kept in the truck. But then Victor looked around again at the bikers, at the parking lot, at the truck stop building, where a clerk stood in the window watching with phone pressed to her ear. Something in Victor's posture changed. His shoulders dropped half an inch. You don't know what you just did, Victor said quietly. Wade didn't respond. Victor got back in his truck, slammed the door hard enough to make the whole vehicle shake, and sat there for another 30 seconds. Then he threw it in reverse, backed out fast enough that the tires kicked up gravel and drove toward the exit. He didn't look back. Wade watched until the truck disappeared onto the highway. Then he turned and walked back to where Harper was standing. She hadn't moved the entire time. Her hands were in her jacket pockets, and she was staring at the ground. "He's going to come back," Harper said. Wade crouched down again. "Maybe. He always comes back." Wade nodded. "Then we'll deal with it." Harper looked up at him. Her eyes were wet, but she wasn't crying. "Why'd you help me?" Wade stood without answering. He looked at the man with the beard. "Polson called Jenny." Polson pulled out his phone and stepped away. "Who's Jenny?" Harper asked. "Someone who can help," Wade said. "Are you hungry?" Harper nodded. Wade gestured toward the truck stop Diener attached to the main building. "Come on." Harper followed him across the parking lot. The other bikers stayed outside watching the road. Inside the diner was half-empty afternoon lull between lunch and dinner. A waitress looked up when they walked in, saw Wade, and nodded like she'd seen him before. He led Harper to a booth in the back corner away from the windows. They sat down. Wade ordered coffee. Harper asked for water. When the waitress left, Wade leaned forward slightly. "Tell me what happened this morning," he said. Harper took a breath. "I woke up and my dad was already mad. He said I embarrassed him. He said people at his work were asking questions." "What did you tell your teacher?" "That he hits me," Harper said. The words came out flat, practiced. "That he locked me in the basement for 2 days because I didn't clean my room right." Wade's expression didn't change, but his hands tightened on the edge of the table. "He hit me this morning," Harper said, touching her lip. "Then he said we were going for a drive. We stopped here and he just sat in the truck. He was on his phone for a long time." "You think he was calling someone?" "I don't know, but he told me to stay in the truck and not move, so I ran." "Why'd you come to us?" Harper looked down at her water glass. "I saw the motorcycles. My friend at school said bikers help people sometimes." Wade nodded. He pulled out his phone and sent a text. "What are you doing?" Harper asked. "Letting someone know we're here." "The police?" "Not yet. Jenny first. She works with kids. She'll know what to do." Harper stared at her water. "What if my dad comes back before she gets here?" "He won't get near you, Che," Wade said. The waitress came back. Wade ordered a burger for Harper. When the waitress left, Harper picked at the paper napkin on the table, tearing off small pieces. "Why are you doing this?" she asked quietly. Wade looked out the window at the other bikers standing near their bikes. He didn't answer. They sat in silence until the food came. Harper ate slowly like she hadn't eaten in a while. Wade didn't touch his coffee. He kept his eyes on the parking lot. 10 minutes later, Polson came inside. He walked to the booth and leaned down. "Jenny's 15 minutes out," he said, "but we got a problem." Wade looked up. "What?" "Truck just pulled into the gas station and across the street, same one." Wade stood. "Stay with her." He walked outside. The younger biker was standing near the edge of the building watching the gas station. Wade joined him. "He's just sitting there," the younger man said. His name was Tyler Richardson, 28, blonde hair, blue eyes that had seen things they shouldn't have. "Hasn't gotten out." Wade looked across the street. The truck was parked at the far pump, engine still running. The driver's side window was down now, and Wade could see Victor's face. He was staring at the diner. "He's waiting," Wade said. "For what?" Wade didn't answer. He pulled out his phone. Inside the diner, Harper had stopped eating. She was looking out the window, hands gripping the edge of the table. Polson sat down across from her. It's okay, he said. He's not coming over here. Harper didn't look at him. He's waiting. Paulson nodded. Yeah, but so are we. Harper looked down at her plate. The burger was half eaten, going cold. She pushed it away. Outside, Wade made a call. It rang twice before someone picked up. It's me, Wade said. We've got a situation. He listened for a moment, then turned and looked back at the diner window. Harper was visible through the glass, small and still in the booth. Yeah, Wade said into the phone. She's 10. Father's armed, I think, waiting across the street. Another pause. No, Wade said. We're not leaving her. He ended the call and looked at Tyler. Get Merrick, I want someone on the roof. Tyler nodded and walked toward the bikes. Wade stayed where he was, watching the truck across the street. Victor hadn't moved. He was still staring at the diner, one hand on the steering wheel, the other out of sight. Wade's phone buzzed. A text from Paulson inside. She just asked if her dad has a gun. Wade typed back, what did you say? Paulson's response came fast. Nothing. What do I tell her? Wade looked at the truck again. Victor's right hand was still hidden below the window line. Wade typed, tell her we're not leaving. He put his phone away and walked back toward the diner entrance. Merrick was already climbing the ladder on the side of the building, moving quickly and quietly. The man, built like a boxer, had repositioned his bike to partly block the diner entrance, engine off, but keys in the ignition. Wade opened the diner door and went back inside. Harper looked up when he sat down across from her. Is he still there? She asked. Wade nodded. Does he have a gun? Wade looked at her. I don't know. Does he? Harper's hands tightened on the table edge. Sometimes. Wade nodded slowly. He didn't look away from her. We're not leaving. Harper's breath shook when she exhaled. Okay. Wade's phone buzzed again. He glanced at it, a text from an unknown number 10 minutes out. Don't engage. Is that Jenny? Harper asked. Yeah. What if he does something before she gets here? Wade looked out the window. The truck hadn't moved. Then we handle it. Harper followed his gaze across the street through the heat shimmer rising off the asphalt. Her father sat motionless behind the wheel, watching, waiting. The minutes crawled. Wade kept his eyes on the gas station. Harper kept her eyes on Wade. Paulson sat quiet, hands folded on the table, the kind of still that came from years of knowing when to move and when to wait. Wade's phone buzzed. Text from Merrick got visual on the whole lot. His right hand's on something. Can't see what. Wade didn't reply. He stood up and walked to the window. Victor was still in the same position, driver's window down, left hand on the wheel, right hand below the sightline. The diner door opened. A woman in her late 30s walked in, professional clothes slightly rumpled from a long drive, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She scanned the room, saw Wade, and walked directly to the booth. Jenny Carson, she said, extending her hand to Wade. He shook it. Wade Miller. Jenny looked at Harper. Hi, sweetie. I'm Jenny. I'm here to help. Harper didn't say anything. Jenny slid into the booth next to Harper, not too close. I know this is scary, but you're safe now, I promise. My dad's across the street, Harper said. I know, Wade told me. He can't hurt you anymore. He will, Harper said. He always does. Jenny reached out slowly, gave Harper time to pull away. When she didn't, Jenny put a gentle hand on her shoulder. Not this time. Wade's phone rang. He stepped away from the booth to answer. Yeah, he said. A man's voice came through, older, rough around the edges. It's Russo. Wade walked toward the far end of the diner. What did you find? Victor Allen Brennan, Russo said. 43, long-haul trucker for Midwest Freight. 2 assault charges in the past decade, both dropped before trial. Wife died 3 years ago, cause listed as accidental fall. I pulled the medical examiner's report. She had a history of injuries consistent with domestic abuse. Wade's jaw tightened. Gets better, Russo continued, or worse, depending on how you look at it. The wife, Diane Brennan, had a life insurance policy, $500,000. Beneficiary is the daughter when she turns 18. Wade looked back at Harper. She was talking to Jenny now, voice too quiet to hear. There's a cousin, Russo said. Colby James Brennan, 35, did time for possession with intent to distribute. Currently under investigation for trafficking. Word is he's connected to some serious people in Omaha. You think Victor called him? I think if Victor needs help, Colby's the kind of family who shows up, Russo said. You want me to keep digging? Yeah, Wade said. Find out everything. Where Victor lives, where he works, who he drinks with. I want to know his whole life. You planning something stupid, Wade? Just being prepared. Russo was quiet for a moment. Be careful. Guys like Colby don't play nice. Neither do I, Wade said. He hung up and walked back to the booth. Jenny was showing Harper something on her phone, photos of a house with a front porch and a swing set in the yard. This is where you'll stay tonight, Jenny was saying. It's a safe place. The family is really nice. They have a daughter about your age. Harper looked at the photos but didn't say anything. Wade sat down. Jenny looked at him, a question in her eyes. He gave a small shake of his head. Not now. Harper, Jenny said gently, I need to ask you some questions, okay? About what's been happening at home. Harper nodded. Has your dad hurt you before today? Yes. How often? Harper was quiet for a moment. A lot. Can you tell me about the last time before today? Harper's hands twisted together in her lap. Last week I forgot to turn off the TV. He said I was wasting electricity. He locked me in the basement. For how long? 2 days, Harper said. Her voice was barely a whisper. Jenny wrote something in a small notebook. Did he give you food or water? Harper shook her head. Wade's hands tightened on the table. Polson looked away. Has he ever hurt you badly enough that you needed to see a doctor? Jenny asked. No, he's careful. He knows where to hit so it doesn't show. Jenny's pen stopped moving. She looked at Harper, really looked at her, and something fierce came into her eyes. You are so brave, she said. Do you know that what you did today, coming to find help, that took so much courage? Harper's eyes filled with tears. I was scared. Being scared doesn't mean you are not brave, Jenny said. Brave means doing the right thing even when you're terrified. The first tear fell, then another. Harper wiped them away quickly, like crying was something she'd been taught not to do. Jenny pulled a tissue from her bag and handed it to Harper. It's okay to cry. You're safe here. Harper took the tissue but didn't use it. She just held it, wadded up in her small fist. Wade's phone buzzed. Text from Merrick, truck door just opened. He's getting out. Wade stood up fast. Jenny, keep her here. He walked to the door and stepped outside. Victor was out of the truck, now standing next to the driver's side door. He was looking directly at the diner. The other bikers had already moved into position. Tyler near the building corner, the boxer stationed by his bike, Merrick visible on the roof edge backlit by the late afternoon sun. Victor started walking across the street. Wade moved to intercept. They met in the middle of the road, maybe 20 feet from the diner entrance. Where is she? Victor said. Somewhere safe, Wade said. She's my daughter. You got no right. Your daughter has bruises that say different. Victor's face darkened. You don't know what you're talking about. That girl lies, always has, makes up stories for attention. The teacher didn't think so, Wade said. Child services didn't think so. They'll see, Victor said. Once I talk to a lawyer, once they hear my side, they'll give her back. She belongs with me. Wade took one step forward. She doesn't belong to anyone, and she's sure as hell not going back to you. Victor's hand moved toward his waistband. Every biker on the lot saw it. Tyler's hand dropped to his side. The boxer shifted his waist. On the roof, Merrick went still. Wade didn't move. Pull that out, Wade said quietly, and this ends real bad for you. Victor's hand stopped, hovered, then dropped. This isn't over, Victor said. Yeah, Wade said. It is. Victor stared at him for a long moment. Then he turned and walked back across the street. He got in his truck, started the engine, and sat there, still watching, still waiting. Wade walked back to the diner. Inside, Jenny had moved to sit across from Harper, giving her space. Harper looked up when Wade came in. What happened? She asked. He's back in his truck, Wade said. He's not leaving. I know. Harper's hands started shaking again. Jenny reached across the table. This time Harper took her hand. We need to go, Jenny said to Wade. The placement home is ready. I can take her now. Wade nodded. I'll follow you. Make sure nobody else does. Jenny stood up. Harper stood with her, moving slow, like her legs didn't quite want to work. Where's the house? Harper asked. About 40 minutes from here, Jenny said. You'll like it. I promise. Harper looked at Wade. What about you? I'll make sure you get there safe, Wade said. And then Wade crouched down so they were eye level. Then I make sure he doesn't follow. Harper's voice dropped to almost nothing. He'll find me. He always finds me. Not this time, Wade said. He stood up and gestured to Polson. Get the truck ready. Polson nodded and headed out. Jenny put her hand on Harper's shoulder. Ready. Harper looked back at the window one more time. Her father's truck was still there. She could see him through the windshield sitting motionless. Yeah, she said quietly. I'm ready. They walked out together, Jenny keeping herself between Harper and the gas station across the street. Polson had pulled an old Ford pickup around to the diner entrance. Jenny opened the back door and Harper climbed in. Wade walked to his motorcycle. Tyler came up beside him. What's the plan? Tyler asked. Follow them to the safe house. Make sure Victor doesn't tail. And if he does, Wade looked at him. Then we make sure he loses interest. Tyler nodded. He understood. The other bikers mounted their bikes. Engines roared to life, 5 deep rumbles that echoed across the parking lot. Jenny pulled out, heading toward the highway. Wade and the others followed, forming a loose convoy around the pickup. Across the street, Victor's truck started moving. He pulled out of the gas station and onto the road, keeping his distance but staying visible. Not hiding, not backing down, just following. Wade watched him in his mirror. He signaled to Tyler and the boxer. They dropped back, putting themselves between Victor and Jenny's pickup. The convoy headed east on Route 40, sun dropping toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the plains. They drove for 20 minutes. Victor stayed behind them, never getting too close, never falling too far back. Then Wade's phone rang through his helmet speakers. Yeah, he said. It's Russo. You're going to want to hear this. What? I did some more digging on Victor. The wife's death, I talked to a retired cop who worked the case. Off the record, he said they tried to make it a homicide investigation. Medical examiner found evidence suggesting Diane Brennan was pushed, not fell, but the DA wouldn't prosecute. Insufficient evidence. Wade's hands tightened on the handlebars. That's not all, Russo continued. I pulled Diane's medical records. She was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer 2 months before she died. Terminal. She had maybe 6 months left. So Victor killed her before the cancer could, Wade said. Looks that way. And here's the kicker. The life insurance policy, it has a clause, no payout if death is from a pre-existing condition diagnosed within 6 months of policy purchase. But if it's accidental death, full payout. Wade felt something cold settle in his chest. He killed her for the money. That's my read, Russo said. And if the daughter inherits when she's 18 and the daughter live with him until then, he controls her, he controls the money, Wade finished. Exactly. And if something happens to her before she turns 18, guess who the secondary beneficiary is? Wade didn't need to ask. This guy's not just an abuser, Russo said. He's a killer. And Harper's worth more to him alive and controllable than dead. For now. Send me everything you've got, Wade said. Already did. Check your email. Thanks, Russo. Wade hung up. He looked in his mirror. Victor's truck was still there keeping pace. This wasn't going to end with a safe house and a restraining order. This was going to end badly. The only question was for who. They reached the placement home just as the sun touched the horizon. It was a ranch-style house on the outskirts of a small town set back from the road behind a line of cottonwood trees. Jenny pulled into the driveway. Wade and the biker stopped at the road. A woman came out of the house. Mid-40s, kind face, wearing an apron. She waved at Jenny. Harper got out of the truck slowly. She looked back at Wade. He nodded to her. She turned and followed Jenny toward the house. The woman put her arm around Harper's shoulders and guided her inside. The door closed. Wade sat on his bike engine, idling, watching the road behind them. Victor's truck appeared a minute later. It slowed as it passed the driveway just enough for Victor to get a good look at the house. Then it kept going. Wade watched until it disappeared. Tyler pulled up next to him. You think he'll come back? Yeah, Wade said. Just a matter of when. What do we do? Wade thought about what Russo had told him. About Diane, about the insurance money, about a man who'd killed his dying wife and would do anything to keep control of his daughter. We end this, Wade said, before it ends her. He turned his bike around and headed back toward town. The others followed. Behind them, the safe house sat quiet in the gathering dark. Inside, Harper stood at a window looking out at the empty road. Waiting. Always waiting. The call came 3 days later. Wade was in his garage, hands deep in the engine of his Harley, when his phone buzzed against the workbench. He wiped oil from his fingers and picked it up. Jenny. He made bail, she said without preamble. Wade straightened. When 2 hours ago, cousin posted it, $50,000 cash. Colby? Yeah, Victor walked out at 10 a.m. I just got the notification. Wade looked at the clock on the wall, nearly 1 in the afternoon. Victor had been out for 3 hours. Where's Harper? Wade asked. Still at the placement home. I've got a call into the judge about moving her, but it takes time. Right now she's got a deputy assigned for protection, but Wade, it's not enough. I know. Wade was already moving, grabbing his jacket from the hook by the door. I'm heading there now. The restraining order is active, Jenny said. If he comes within 500 feet, a piece of paper won't stop him, Wade said. He hung up and walked outside. Tyler was sitting on the front steps of Wade's small rental house, cleaning his boots with a rag. Victor's out, Wade said. Tyler's head snapped up. When, 3 hours ago, Tyler stood, then we move. Wade pulled out his phone and sent a group text to the others. Meeting, now, my place. Within 20 minutes, all 5 of them were there. Merrick arrived first, quiet as always, moving like shadow. Lang Bishop came next, the boxer knuckles still scarred from a life spent in rings and back alleys. Polson pulled up last, his old truck rattling to a stop in the driveway. They gathered in Wade's garage door, pulled halfway down against the cold wind starting to pick up. Victor's out, Wade said. Colby posted bail. That means Colby's invested. That means this just got more dangerous. What's the play? Lang asked. I need eyes on Victor. Where he goes, who he talks to. I need to know what he's planning before he does it. And Colby, Merrick asked. His voice was quiet, precise. Years as a military sniper had taught him to use words like ammunition sparingly and only when they had hit the target. I'll handle Colby, Wade said. Alone, Tyler asked. Alone. Tyler shook his head. Bad idea. It's the only idea, Wade said. Colby's connected. If all of us show up, it looks like a gang move. If it's just me, it's a conversation. A conversation, Lang repeated, not quite believing it. With incentives, Wade said. Polson leaned against the workbench. What about the girl? I'm putting someone on the safe house 24/7, Wade said. Rotating shifts. Merrick, you take first watch. Lang, your second. Tyler, third. Polson, your backup if anything happens. What about you? Merrick asked. I'm going to make sure Colby understands that helping Victor is a bad investment. They looked at each other. Nobody argued. They'd known Wade long enough to understand that when his voice got that flat, that's certain there was no point in trying to change his mind. Gear up, Wade said. We move in an hour. Colby Brennan lived in a third-floor walk-up on the east side of town, the kind of neighborhood where people didn't ask questions and didn't answer them either. Wade parked his bike 2 blocks away and walked the rest of the distance, hands in his jacket pockets, head down against the wind. The building was old brick windows, dark front entrance, propped open with a concrete block. Wade climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. Unit 12 was at the end of the hall door, painted industrial green, with a peephole at eye level. Wade knocked. Footsteps inside. A pause. Then the door opened a crack. Chain lock still engaged. Colby looked out. Younger than Wade expected. Mid-30s, lean, with the kind of eyes that measured every angle before committing to a move. Who the hell are you? Colby asked. The guy who's going to save you a lot of trouble, Wade said. Colby started to close the door. Wade put his boot in the gap. Move your foot, Colby said. We need to talk. No, we don't. Wade leaned closer. It's about Victor. Colby's expression shifted. What about him? Let me in and I'll tell you. Colby stared at him for a long moment. Then he shut the door, slid the chain free, and opened it again. Wade stepped inside. The apartment was small, messy in the way of someone who spent more time gone than home. Pizza boxes on the counter, laptop open on the coffee table showing a bail bondsman's website, a leather jacket thrown over the back of a chair. Colby closed the door and turned to face Wade. You got 2 minutes. Victor's a problem, Wade said. He's family. He's a child abuser. Colby's jaw tightened. That's not what he told me. He told you a kid made up stories, that some bikers kidnapped his daughter and threatened him, that he was just defending himself. That's exactly what he said. Wade took 1 step forward. He pulled a gun on a 10-year-old girl. I was there. I saw it. His daughter ran to us because she had nowhere else to go. She had bruises, Colby. Fresh ones. I don't know what you think you're doing here. I'm giving you a chance to walk away, Wade said. Before this goes somewhere you don't want it to go. Colby laughed, but it was sharp, humorless. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how this ends, Wade said. You keep helping Victor. You keep posting his bail and hiring his lawyers, and eventually people start asking questions. Like why you're so invested in keeping a child abuser out of jail. Like maybe there's money involved. Maybe drugs. Maybe worse. You don't know anything about me. I know you did time for possession with intent. I know you're under investigation for trafficking. I know the DEA would love a reason to dig deeper into your business. Colby's expression went flat. You wearing a wire? No. Prove it. Wade pulled his jacket open. No wire. He turned in a slow circle. Nothing. Colby relaxed slightly, but his eyes stayed hard. Even if everything you said is true, what makes you think I care? Because smart people don't go down for someone else's mess, Wade said. And you're smart, Colby. I can tell. You didn't get where you are by being stupid. Colby walked to the kitchen and opened the fridge. He pulled out a beer, popped the cap, and took a long drink. What do you want? Stop helping Victor. Cut him loose. Tell him you're done. And if I don't, then I make sure everyone knows you're protecting a man who killed his wife and beats his daughter. Colby set the beer down hard. He didn't kill anyone. Diane Brennan died 3 years ago, fall down the stairs, accidental death. Wade pulled out his phone and brought up the report Russo had sent. He held it out to Colby. Medical examiner suspected homicide but couldn't prove it. Want to know why Victor killed her 2 months after her cancer diagnosis? Colby didn't take the phone. Why? Life insurance, $500,000, no payout for death from pre-existing conditions, but accidental death, full payout. Wade lowered the phone. He killed her for money, Colby, and now he's coming for the daughter because she inherits when she turns 18. He needs her alive and controlled. And if you help him, you're part of it. Colby was quiet for a long moment. Then he picked up his beer and finished it. You got proof of any of this? Enough to make your life very complicated. Colby crushed the can and threw it toward the trash. It hit the rim and fell to the floor. Say I believe you. Say I cut him off. What then? Then you walk away clean. No DEA sniffing around your business. No association with the murderer. You go back to whatever you were doing before Victor called. And the kid gets to be safe. Colby laughed again, bitter this time. You really think you can protect her? Victor doesn't give up, ever. I've known him my whole life. When he wants something, he takes it. Doesn't matter who gets in the way. Then I guess we'll see who's more stubborn, Wade said. Colby walked to the window and looked out at the street. He called me this morning, said he needs more money, lawyer fees. He's planning to fight this in court, get custody back. He won't. You sure about that? Colby turned. Because I've seen him talk his way out of worse. He's good at it, makes people believe him. And that kid, she's 10. Put her on a witness stand, make her testify against her father in front of strangers. She'll break. He knows it. Not if he's back in jail before it gets that far, Wade said. Colby studied him. You planning something? I'm planning to keep Harper safe, however I have to, even if it means breaking the law. Wade didn't answer. Colby nodded slowly. Yeah, that's what I thought. He walked back to the couch and sat down. Here's the thing. I don't owe you anything, but I also don't owe Victor anything. He's family, but family doesn't mean much when it comes down to business. And this, he gestured vaguely, this is bad business. So you're out, Wade asked. I'm thinking about it. Think fast, Wade said. Because if Victor makes a move on Harper and you're still connected to him, I'm coming back. And next time it won't be a conversation. Colby looked at him for a long moment. You got balls, I'll give you that. Walking in here alone threatening me. Not a threat, Wade said. A promise. Colby stood up. Get out. Wade walked to the door. He put his hand on the knob, then stopped. One more thing. If you decide to warn Victor I was here, you should know I've got people watching your place. And his. So if something happens to Harper, we'll know it came from you. I said, get out. Wade opened the door and left. He was halfway down the stairs when he heard glass shatter above him, something heavy hitting a wall. Colby having a private moment with his temper. Wade kept walking. Merrick was parked 3 houses down from the safe house when Wade pulled up. The street was quiet early evening, settling in street lights starting to flicker on. Wade got off his bike and walked to Merrick's truck. Merrick rolled down the window. Anything, Wade asked. Quiet. Deputies inside. Harper went out to the backyard about an hour ago. Came back in 20 minutes later. Lights on in what looks like the kitchen. Victor. No sign. Wade nodded. I'll take over. You head back. Merrick hesitated. How'd it go with Colby? Hard to say. He's thinking about it. And if he decides wrong, then we escalate. Merrick pulled out. Wade walked back to his bike and moved it to a different spot, better angle on the house. He settled in to wait. His phone rang an hour later. Tyler. We got movement, Tyler said. Victor just left his apartment, heading east. Where? Don't know yet. Lang's on him. Stay close. Let me know where he ends up. Wade hung up and watched the safe house. The lights in the front room were on. He could see shadows moving behind the curtains. Harper, maybe. Or the woman who ran the house. His phone buzzed. Text from Lang. Victor stopped at a bar. Archer Street. Been inside 10 minutes. Wade knew the place. Dive bar on the edge of town, the kind where regulars kept to themselves and newcomers weren't welcome. Another text, 3 guys just went in. One of them's Colby. Wade's jaw tightened. So much for thinking about it. His phone rang. Lang. They're meeting, Lang said. Victor, Colby, and 2 other guys I don't recognize. Big guys. Look like muscle. Can you hear anything? No, I'm outside. Too risky to go in. Stay on them. I'm on my way. Wade started his bike and headed toward Archer Street. 20 minutes later, he pulled into the parking lot across from the bar. Lang was sitting in his truck at the far end. Wade parked next to him. They still inside? Yeah, no windows on this side, so I can't see what they're doing. Wade looked at the bar, neon sign flickering, 2 motorcycles outside, neither of them familiar. A beat-up sedan that probably belonged to the bartender. How long? Wade asked. About 40 minutes now. Wade's phone rang. Jenny. We have a problem, she said. Wade's chest tightened. What happened? Someone called the placement home, asked for Harper by name, said he was with child services. When the foster mother asked for credentials, he hung up. When 30 minutes ago, Wade looked at the bar. Victor's with Colby right now, planning something. I'm moving Harper tonight, Jenny said. Different location. I'll text you the address once we're there. Good. Do it now. Already in motion, deputies escorting us. Wade hung up. He looked at Lang. Something's happening. Stay here. If they come out, follow Victor. I need to know where he goes. Wade rode back to the safe house. Jenny's car was in the driveway, trunk open. The foster mother was carrying a small suitcase out. Harper appeared in the doorway wearing her red jacket, looking small and scared. Wade parked and walked up the driveway. Harper saw him and her shoulders dropped slightly. Relief. Hey, Wade said. Are you coming with us? Harper asked. No, but I'll make sure you get there safe. Jenny came out carrying another bag. She saw Wade and nodded. We're almost ready. Where are you taking her? Better if you don't know, Jenny said, in case anyone asks. Wade understood. How far? 40 miles, different county. Good. Harper walked down the steps toward Wade. She stopped a few feet away. My dad called. Wade looked at her. What? The lady who lives here told me. Someone called asking for me. She said it was probably just a wrong number, but I know it wasn't. It wasn't, Wade said, but he's not going to find you. How do you know? Because I'm not going to let him. Harper looked at him, searching his face for something. Whatever she found seemed to satisfy her because she nodded and walked to Jenny's car. The deputy, a young guy, maybe 25, came out and did a final sweep of the house. He locked the front door and got in his cruiser. Jenny closed her trunk. I'll call you when we're settled. Do that. Jenny got in her car. Harper looked out the back window at Wade. He raised his hand slightly. She raised hers. The convoy pulled out. Wade watched until they disappeared. Then he got on his bike and headed back to Archer Street. When he arrived, Lang was standing outside his truck, phone to his ear. He saw Wade and hung up. They just left, Lang said. All four of them got in two vehicles, Victor and Colby in Victor's truck, the other two in a black SUV. Where'd they go? Split up. Victor went north, SUV went south. You follow Victor. Yeah, he went to a storage unit facility off Highway 12. Stayed about 10 minutes, then left. He was getting something, Wade said. That's what I figured. Wade's phone buzzed. Text from Merrick. You need to see this. There was a photo attached. Security camera footage, grainy but clear enough. Victor standing outside a chain-link fence. In his hand was a bolt cutter. The timestamp was from 40 minutes ago. The location tag said it was taken from a camera at the new safe house. Wade showed it to Lang. How the hell did he find out where they moved her? Lang's expression went dark. Someone told him. Wade pulled out his phone and called Jenny. It went to voicemail. He called again. Still voicemail. Get Tyler and Polson, Wade said. Tell them to meet me at the new safe house. Now. Lang was already moving. Wade sent Jenny a text. Call me. Urgent. Then he got on his bike and rode faster than he'd ridden in years. The new safe house was in a rural area, long driveway surrounded by fields. Wade saw the deputy's cruiser first parked at an angle with the driver's door open. No deputy. Wade killed his engine and approached on foot. The house was dark. Front door closed. Too quiet. Wade pulled his phone and dialed 911. When the operator answered, he said, Officer down, possible home invasion. He gave the address and hung up. Then he moved toward the house. The front door was locked. Wade went around back. The kitchen door was ajar. He pushed it open slowly. Inside was dark, the only light coming from a digital clock on the microwave. Jenny, Wade called. No answer. Wade stepped inside. His boot hit something. He looked down. Blood. Not much. Just a few drops. But fresh. Wade moved through the kitchen into the living room. Furniture was overturned. Lamp on the floor broken. Signs of a struggle. A sound from upstairs. Quiet. Almost nothing. Wade moved toward the stairs. He took them two at a time, keeping his footsteps light. At the top, a hallway, 3 doors, one open. Wade looked inside. The deputy was on the floor, unconscious but breathing, hands zip-tied behind his back, blood on his temple where someone had hit him. Wade checked the other rooms. Empty. Jenny's car was still in the driveway, but Jenny and Harper were gone. Wade's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Yeah, Victor's voice came through. You should have minded your own business. Wade's blood went cold. Where are they? Somewhere safe, for now. If you hurt her, you'll what? Victor laughed. Come find me. Good luck with that. By the time anyone figures out where we are, I'll be long gone. And Harper will be right where she belongs, with her father. The cops are already on their way, Wade said. Let them come. I didn't leave anything they can trace. Colby sold you out, Wade said. He told me everything. Victor was quiet for a moment. Then no, he didn't. I know my cousin. Family's family. Family doesn't mean anything when the DEA gets involved, Wade said. Another pause. Longer this time. You're bluffing, Victor said. Try me, Wade said. Colby's got a lot to lose. You're already done. You just don't know it yet. Victor's breathing got heavier. I'll kill her. I swear to God, if you come after me, I'll kill both of them. No, you won't, Wade said, because dead she's worth nothing to you. You need her alive. You need that insurance money. Silence. Yeah, Wade said. I know about that too. I know about Diane. I know what you did. You don't know anything. I know you're a coward who killed his dying wife and beats his daughter. I know you're not getting away with this. Victor hung up. Wade stood in the empty hallway, phone in his hand, every muscle tensed. Tyler's voice came from downstairs. Wade. Up here. Tyler came up the stairs, saw the deputy, and swore. What happened? Victor took them, Jenny and Harper. When, less than an hour ago, sirens in the distance getting closer. Polson appeared at the top of the stairs. Cops are here. Wade looked at the deputy on the floor. Get him downstairs. Tell the cops what happened. What are you going to do? Tyler asked. Wade was already moving. Find them. He went downstairs and out the back door as the first police cruiser pulled up. He got on his bike and rode into the darkness, pulling out his phone as he went. He called Russo. I need everything you've got on Victor, Wade said. Property he owns, places he might go, people he knows, everything. What happened? Russo asked. He took Harper. Russo was quiet for just a second. I'll have it to you in 20 minutes. Make it 10. Wade rode hard, wind cutting through his jacket, mind racing through every conversation he'd had with Victor, every detail Russo had uncovered. Victor was desperate. Desperate men made mistakes. Wade just had to find the right one. His phone buzzed. Text from Russo. Victor's truck was registered at a storage facility on Highway 12. Unit 217, owner listed as Diane Brennan. Wade changed direction. Highway 12 was 30 miles west. Another text from Russo. Recent credit card purchase. Hardware store. Bought chains, padlocks, duct tape. Wade's hands tightened on the handlebars. A third text found something else. Victor's mother owned a property in Oak Ridge County. Small cabin, remote. Deed transferred to Victor when she died 5 years ago. Sending address now. The address came through. Oak Ridge County, 60 miles north, middle of nowhere. Wade pushed the bike faster. He reached the cabin just before midnight. No lights, no vehicles, but fresh tire tracks in the dirt driveway. Wade killed his engine half a mile out and walked the rest of the way. The cabin was small wood siding, single story, one window lit from inside, curtains drawn. Wade circled around back. A truck was parked behind the cabin, partially hidden by trees. Victor's truck. Wade pulled out his phone and called 911 again. Gave the address. Said he heard screaming. Then he moved toward the cabin. The back door was locked. Wade tested the window next to it. Also locked. A sound from inside. Muffled. Someone crying. Wade picked up a rock and smashed the window. Glass shattered. He reached through, unlocked it, and pulled himself inside. He was in a small kitchen. Dark. Quiet except for the crying coming from another room. Wade moved toward it. The door was closed. He opened it slowly. Jenny was on the floor, hands zip-tied, tape over her mouth. Blood on her face from a cut above her eye. Harper was in the corner, curled up, also zip-tied. Victor was standing by the window looking out. He turned when Wade came in. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Victor smiled. I knew you'd come. He pulled a gun from his waistband. Wade stopped. See, that's the problem with you hero types, Victor said. You're predictable. I knew you wouldn't call the cops. I knew you'd come yourself. Try to save the day. You're done, Victor, Wade said. No, you are. Victor raised the gun. Wade didn't move. Go ahead, Wade said. Shoot me. Then what? Cops are already on their way. You'll never get out of here. I'll take my chances. With Harper as a hostage, they'll surround this place. You'll be trapped. Then I'll use her to negotiate. She's worth more to you alive, Wade said, but only if you're free. You kill me, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. No insurance money, no control, nothing. Victor's hand wavered. But if you let them go, Wade said, if you run now, you might actually get away. Disappear. Start over somewhere else. Victor laughed. You think I'm stupid? I think you're smart enough to know when you've lost. Victor's finger moved to the trigger. Then Harper spoke. Dad. Her voice was small, shaking, but she said it. Victor looked at her. Dad, please, Harper said. Just let us go. Shut up, Victor said. I won't tell anyone, I promise. Just please don't hurt anyone else. Victor's face twisted. You already told. You told everyone. You destroyed everything. I'm sorry, Harper whispered. Sorry doesn't fix this. Then what will? Harper asked. Victor didn't have an answer. Sirens in the distance, faint but getting louder. Victor heard them. His expression changed. Panic, anger, desperation all at once. He pointed the gun at Harper. Wade moved. He crossed the room in 3 strides, grabbed Victor's wrist, and twisted. The gun went off, deafening in the small space. The bullet hit the wall. Wade drove his shoulder into Victor's chest, slamming him against the wall. Victor's head hit hard. He dropped the gun. Wade didn't let go. He drove his knee into Victor's stomach. Victor gasped, tried to swing, but Wade blocked it and hit him across the jaw. Victor went down. Wade kicked the gun away and stood over him, breathing hard. Victor didn't get up. Wade turned to Harper and Jenny. He pulled out his pocket knife and cut their zip ties. Jenny pulled the tape off her mouth. Are you insane? Probably, Wade said. Harper just stared at her father on the floor. The sirens were close now, red and blue lights flashing through the windows. Wade helped Jenny to her feet. Can you walk? Yeah, he turned to Harper. She was still staring at Victor. Harper, Wade said gently. She looked at him. Her eyes were wet. It's over, Wade said. Harper nodded slowly, then she walked to Wade and wrapped her arms around him. Wade stood there for a moment, not sure what to do. Then he put his hand on her head. You're okay, he said quietly. You're safe now. The front door burst open. Police flooded in, guns drawn. Hands up. Wade raised his hands. He's on the floor, guns over there. Officers moved in, securing Victor, checking Jenny and Harper. Detective Brennan came in last. He saw Wade and shook his head. You can't keep doing this. Doing what? Taking the law into your own hands. Wade didn't respond. Brennan looked at Harper, then at Victor being cuffed on the floor. But I'm glad you did, Brennan said quietly. They took Victor away in handcuffs. Paramedics checked Jenny and Harper. Both were shaken but physically okay. Wade stood outside watching the chaos. Tyler Langmerrick and Polson pulled up on their bikes. Everyone all right? Tyler asked. Yeah, Wade said. Victor. In custody. For real this time? Tyler nodded. Good. Wade's phone rang. Russo. You're not going to believe this, Russo said. What? Colby just walked into the police station. He's making a statement about Victor, about everything. Wade was quiet. He's testifying against him, Russo continued, giving up all the details, Victor's plans, the storage unit, this cabin, all of it. Why? My guess you scared him straight. Or maybe he just didn't want to go down with Victor. Wade hung up and looked at the cabin. Police were bringing Harper out. She was wrapped in a blanket, walking slowly next to Jenny. She saw Wade and stopped. Jenny said something to her, and Harper nodded. Then she walked over to Wade. "Thank you," she said. "You don't need to thank me," Wade said. "Yeah," Harper said. "I do." She went back to Jenny. They got in an ambulance to be taken to the hospital for observation. Wade watched them go. Brennan walked up beside him. "We're going to need a statement." "Later," Wade said. "Wade, I'll come by tomorrow. Right now I need to clear my head." Brennan studied him for a moment, then nodded. "All right, tomorrow." Wade walked to his bike. The others followed. They rode back to town in silence, engines rumbling through the night. Wade didn't go home. He rode out to the old highway overlook, a place he used to come to when his thoughts got too heavy. He parked and stood at the edge, looking out over the dark plains. His phone buzzed. "Text from Jenny, Harper wants you to visit tomorrow, if you're up for it." Wade stared at the message. Then he typed, "I'll be there." He put his phone away and stayed there until the sun started to rise. The courtroom was too quiet. Wade sat in the back row, hands folded, watching Harper on the witness stand. She looked impossibly small up there. Red jacket traded for a dress someone had picked out for her, hair brushed back from her face. She'd been answering questions for 20 minutes. The prosecutor was gentle, methodical. "Can you tell the court what happened on the morning of September 18th? Harper's voice was steady. "My dad woke me up. He was angry. He said I embarrassed him." "How did he express his anger?" "He hit me." "Where did he hit you?" Harper touched her arm. "Here and here." She touched her ribs. "He was careful. He knew where to hit so it wouldn't show." In the gallery, someone shifted. Wade looked over. Victor sat at the defense table in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed, expression blank. Next to him, his lawyer, a man named Marcus Blackwell, scribbled notes. "What happened after he hit you?" the prosecutor asked. "He said we were going for a drive. He said we needed to talk about my future." Harper paused. "He said if I told anyone else what happened at home, I'd never see school again." "Did you believe him?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because he'd said things like that before, and he always meant them." The prosecutor walked closer. "What did you do?" "When we stopped at the truck stop, I ran. I saw the motorcycles, and I thought maybe they could help." "Had you ever met Wade Miller before that day?" "No." "But you trusted him?" Harper looked at Wade. Their eyes met. "Yes." "Why?" Harper was quiet for a moment. "Because when I told him what my dad did, he didn't ask me if I was lying. He just believed me." The prosecutor nodded and walked back to his table. No further questions. Blackwell stood. He adjusted his suit jacket and approached the witness stand with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Harper," he said, "I know this is difficult, but I need to ask you some questions too. Is that okay?" Harper nodded. "You said your father hit you that morning, but you also said he was careful not to leave marks. So how can we be sure it actually happened?" The prosecutor stood. "Objection," badgering the witness. "Sustained," the judge said. Blackwell tried again. "Let me rephrase. Did anyone witness your father hitting you that morning?" "No," Harper said. "So we only have your word for it." "Objection," the prosecutor said. "Withdrawn," Blackwell said quickly. He paced in front of the witness stand. "You told the court you ran to the bikers for help, But isn't it true that your father came to get you and these bikers refused to let you leave with him? They protected me, Harper said. They prevented a father from taking his daughter home, Blackwell countered. Didn't they? Harper's hands tightened on the armrests. My dad had a gun. According to you, but the police report states the gun wasn't found on your father's person during the first encounter. It was only later during a second incident that a weapon was recovered. Isn't that correct? Harper looked confused. I don't know. I just know he had a gun. Blackwell nodded like she'd just proved his point. You were 10 years old, frightened in a strange place. Isn't it possible you were mistaken, that you saw something that wasn't there? No, Harper said. He had a gun. Or perhaps, Blackwell said, leaning closer, these bikers convinced you that you were in danger. Perhaps they manipulated a scared little girl into thinking her father was a monster. Wade's hands tightened into fists. Harper's voice rose. Nobody convinced me. I know what he did. Do you? Blackwell asked. Or do you know what Wade Miller told you to say? Objection. The prosecutor was on his feet. Your Honor, I'm simply exploring the possibility that this child's testimony has been influenced by... The judge cut him off. Mr. Blackwell, tread carefully. Objection sustained. Blackwell stepped back. No further questions. Harper looked at the prosecutor, then at the judge. She was shaking. The judge spoke gently. You may step down, Harper. Harper stood and walked past the defense table. She didn't look at her father. Victor watched her go, expression unreadable. Wade met Harper at the courtroom doors. Jenny was there too, along with Dr. Rachel Foster, the psychologist who'd been working with Harper for the past 3 months. You did great, Jenny said. Harper didn't respond. She just stood there, staring at the floor. Let's get some air, Dr. Foster said. They walked outside. The courthouse steps were cold wind picking up. Harper sat down on the top step and pulled her jacket tighter. Wade sat next to her. They didn't talk. After a few minutes, Harper said, He's going to get away with it. No, he's not, Wade said. That lawyer made it sound like I made everything up. The jury will see through that. How do you know? Wade looked at her. Because they've seen you, they've heard you, and they know the truth when they hear it. Harper pulled her knees to her chest. What if they don't believe me? Wade didn't have an answer for that. The trial lasted 5 days. Victor didn't take the stand. His lawyer argued that the state's case was built on the uncorroborated testimony of a traumatized child and circumstantial evidence. He painted Victor as a grieving widower who'd lost his wife to cancer and was trying his best to raise a daughter alone. He suggested that Wade and the other bikers had inserted themselves into a family matter, turning a father-daughter relationship into something sinister. The prosecutor countered with medical records showing Harper's history of injuries, with testimony from teachers who'd noticed bruises, with the evidence of Victor's attempt to abduct Harper from the safe house, with Colby's testimony about Victor's plans in the storage unit full of chains and duct tape. But the defense hammered on one point: there were no witnesses to the actual abuse. Everything else was hearsay or could be explained away. On the 5th day, the jury went to deliberate. Wade sat in the hallway outside the courtroom with Tyler Lang, Merrick, and Polson. None of them talked much. They just waited. Jenny paced. Dr. Foster sat with Harper, talking quietly. Hours passed. Finally, the bailiff came out. Jury's back. Everyone filed into the courtroom. Harper sat between Jenny and Dr. Foster. Wade stayed in the back row. The jury filed in. 12 faces, impossible to read. The judge addressed the foreman. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. On the charge of child abuse in the first degree, how do you find guilty? Harper's breath caught. On the charge of attempted kidnapping, how do you find guilty? On the charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, how do you find guilty? The courtroom erupted. Not loudly, but the shift in energy was palpable. The judge banged her gavel. Order. Victor sat motionless, staring straight ahead. The judge continued through the remaining charges. Guilty, guilty, guilty. When it was done, the judge set a sentencing date and dismissed the jury. Harper turned in her seat and looked at Wade. He nodded. She nodded back. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. The judge was methodical, laying out each charge in the corresponding sentence. When she finished, Victor was facing 28 years without possibility of parole. He'd be 71 when he got out, if he got out. The judge spoke directly to him. Mr. Brennan, you were entrusted with the care of a child. Instead of protecting her, you abused her. You terrorized her. You killed her mother, and when people tried to intervene, you escalated to violence and kidnapping. This court finds your actions reprehensible and your lack of remorse disturbing. It is the judgment of this court that you pose a continued threat to society and to your daughter specifically. Therefore, I am imposing the maximum sentence allowed by law. She banged the gavel. Victor was let out in handcuffs. He didn't look back. Harper watched him go. When the door closed behind him, she let out a breath she'd been holding for months. Jenny put her arm around her. It's over. Harper didn't say anything. She just stood up and walked out of the courtroom. Wade followed. Outside, Harper sat on the courthouse steps, same spot as before. Wade sat next to her. Do you feel better? Wade asked. Harper thought about it. I don't know. I thought I would, but I just feel tired. That's normal. Is it? Wade nodded. You've been carrying this for a long time. It takes a while to put it down. Harper looked at him. How long did it take you? Wade was quiet for a moment. I'm still working on it. Your daughter, Harper said. Sarah, do you think about her a lot? Every day? Does it get easier? Wade looked out at the street. No, but you learn to live with it. Harper nodded. I don't want to forget my mom, even though it hurts to remember her. Then don't forget, Wade said. Remember the good parts, the parts that made you happy. She used to sing to me, Harper said quietly. When I couldn't sleep, she'd sit on my bed and sing until I fell asleep. What did she sing? Old songs. I don't know all the names, but I remember how her voice sounded. Hold on to that, Wade said. They sat in silence for a while. Then Harper said, What happens now? What do you mean, with me? Where do I go? Jenny's working on that, Wade said. There's a family in Montana, good people. They want to meet you. Montana's far. Yeah. Will I see you again? Wade looked at her. If you want to. I do, Harper said. Then you will. Harper smiled slightly. It was small, tentative, but it was real. 6 months later, Wade rode into a small town in Montana called Ridgeview. Population 3,000. Mountains in the distance. Clean air. Quiet streets. He found the address Jenny had given him. A 2-story house with a front porch and a swing set in the yard. A dog barked from somewhere in the back. Wade parked his bike and walked to the front door. Before he could knock, it opened. Harper stood there. She was taller than he remembered, hair longer, still wearing the red jacket. You came, she said. I said I would. Harper smiled and stepped aside. Come in. Inside, the house was warm, photos on the walls, lived-in furniture, the smell of something baking. A woman came out of the kitchen. late 40s kind eyes. You must be Wade. I'm Claire Thompson. Wade shook her hand. Thanks for having me. Harper's been talking about you all week, Claire said. I think she was worried you wouldn't show. Wade looked at Harper. I don't break promises. Harper's smile widened. Claire gestured to the kitchen. I made coffee, and Harper helped with cookies. They sat at the kitchen table. Harper told Wade about school, about her new friends, about the mountains she could see from her bedroom window. She didn't mention Victor, didn't mention the trial, didn't mention any of it, just talked about normal things, kid things. Wade listened and drank his coffee and ate cookies that were slightly burnt but tasted fine. After a while, Harper said, I have something to show you. She led him outside to the backyard. There was a small garden, vegetables growing in neat rows. I planted these, Harper said. Claire taught me. She said it's good to grow things, to see them get bigger and stronger. Wade looked at the garden. You did a good job. Thanks. They stood there for a moment. Then Harper said, I still have nightmares sometimes. Wade looked at her. But they're not as bad as before, Harper continued. And when I wake up, Claire is there, or her husband David, and they tell me I'm safe. And eventually I believe them. Good, Wade said. Dr. Foster says it'll get better, that it takes time. She's right. Harper looked up at him. Do you still have nightmares about Sarah? Yeah. What do you do when you wake up? Wade thought about it. I remind myself that I can't change what happened, but I can make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. Harper nodded, like you did for me. Like I did for you. Harper walked over to a small tool shed at the edge of the yard. She opened it and pulled out a helmet, small red with white stars on it. You said you'd teach me to ride, Harper said. Wade smiled. Not yet. You've got a few years before you're old enough. I know, but I wanted to be ready. Wade took the helmet and looked it over. When you're 16, I'll teach you. Promise, promise. Harper took the helmet back and put it in the shed. When she came back, she was holding something else, a photo in a small frame. She handed it to Wade. It was a picture of Diane Brennan, smiling, healthy, before the cancer. I found this in my stuff, Harper said. I wanted you to see what she looked like, before everything. Wade looked at the photo. Diane had Harper's eyes, the same shape, the same color. She was beautiful, Wade said. Yeah, Harper said. She was. Wade handed the photo back. Harper held it for a moment, then set it on the garden's edge, propped against a stone. I like to bring her out here sometimes, Harper said, so she can see the garden. I think she'd like it. Wade didn't say anything. He just stood there with Harper in the quiet backyard, the mountains in the distance, the sun starting to dip toward the horizon. After a while, Claire called from the house. Harper, dinner in 20 minutes? Okay, Harper called back. She looked at Wade. You're staying, right? If it's all right with Claire. It is, I already asked. Wade smiled. Then yeah, I'll stay. They walked back inside. The rest of the afternoon passed in easy conversation. Dinner was simple pot roast and vegetables, but it was good. David Thompson came home from work, a quiet man with a firm handshake and a way of making people feel welcome without saying much. After dinner, Harper and Wade sat on the front porch. The sun was gone, stars starting to appear. Do you ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't found you that day? Harper asked. Wade looked at her. Yeah, me too, Harper said. I think about it a lot. And I'm glad I found you. Wade nodded. Me too. Harper was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Can I ask you something? Sure. If you could go back and save Sarah, would you? Wade didn't answer right away. He looked out at the street, at the quiet town, at the life Harper was building here. Yeah, he said finally, I would, but I can't. So instead, I make sure other people get the chance she didn't. Do you think she'd be proud of you? Wade's throat tightened. I don't know. Harper leaned against him slightly. I think she would. They sat there until Claire came out and said it was time for Harper to get ready for bed. Harper stood and looked at Wade. You'll come back, right? Yeah, Wade said, I'll come back. Harper hugged him. Quick, awkward, but genuine. Then she went inside. Wade stayed on the porch for a few more minutes. Claire came out and sat in the chair Harper had vacated. She's doing really well, Claire said, considering everything. You've done a good job with your her, Wade said. We try, but she's strong, stronger than most adults I know. Wade nodded. She talks about you sometimes, Claire said, about that day at the truck stop. She says you were the first person who believed her. I did. That matters more than you know, Claire said. To a kid who's been told she's lying for years, having someone believe her, that changes everything. Wade looked at the door Harper had gone through. She deserves a good life. She'll have one, Claire said. We'll make sure of it. Wade stood. I should get going. Claire walked him to his bike. He put on his helmet and started the engine. Thank you, Claire said, for saving her. Wade didn't know what to say to that, so he just nodded and rode into the night. 3 years later, Wade got a call from Jenny. You're not going to believe this, she said. What? Harper called me. She's starting a program at her school, a peer support group for kids dealing with abuse. She's running it. Wade smiled. Good for her. She wants you to come speak to the group, share your perspective. I'm not good at speeches. You don't have to give a speech, just tell them what you told Harper, that they're worth saving, that they're not alone. Wade thought about it. All right, when? Next month, I'll send you the details. Wade hung up and looked at the calendar on his wall. He marked the date. When the day came, he rode back to Montana. The school was small, just a few hundred students. The support group met in a classroom after hours. Wade walked in and found Harper at the front of the room. She was 16 now, taller, more confident. The red jacket was gone, replaced by a hoodie and jeans. She saw him and smiled. You made it. I said I would. There were maybe 15 kids in the room, all ages, with the same look in their eyes that Harper had once had. Fear, uncertainty, hope. Harper introduced Wade. This is Wade Miller. He's the person I told you about, the one who helped me when I needed it most. Wade stood at the front of the room. He looked at the kids staring back at him. I'm not good at this, he said, talking to groups, but Harper asked, so I'm here. One of the kids, a girl, maybe 12, raised her hand. What do we do if nobody believes us? Wade looked at her. You keep telling the truth. You find someone who will listen. Teachers, counselors, friends, parents. You don't stop until someone hears you. A boy in the back spoke up. What if we're scared? Then you're normal, Wade said. Being scared doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But you can't let fear stop you from getting help. Another girl asked, how do we know who to trust? Wade thought about Harper standing in that parking lot asking if he made bad people disappear. You trust your gut, Wade said. If someone feels safe, if they listen without judging, if they believe you when everyone else doesn't, that's who you trust. Harper spoke up. Wade believed me when my own father said I was lying. He didn't know me. He didn't know me anything. But he believed me anyway. And that changed my life. The kids looked at Wade with something like awe. One of them asked, why did you help her? Wade looked at Harper. Because nobody helped my daughter, and I wasn't going to let that happen to someone else. The room went quiet. After a moment, Harper said, Wade lost someone he loved, but instead of letting that destroy him, he uses it to save people. That's what we can do too. We can take what happens to us and use it to help others. The meeting continued for another hour. Kids asked questions, shared stories, cried, laughed. By the end, some of them were smiling. As everyone filed out, Harper walked Wade to his bike. Thank you for coming, she said. Thanks for asking. Harper looked at the bike. I'm 16 now. Wade raised an eyebrow. You are. You promised you'd teach me to ride when I turned 16. Wade smiled. See, I did, didn't I? Next time I visit, I'll bring an extra helmet. Harper grinned, and I'm holding you to that. Wade got on his bike and started it. Harper stepped back. As he pulled away, she called out, Wade! He stopped and looked back. Sarah would be proud of you. Wade's chest tightened. He nodded once and rode into the night. 5 years after that, Wade got a letter in the mail. It was from Harper. She was in college now, studying social work. The letter said she'd been accepted into a program that placed students with at-risk youth. She wrote, I want to do what you did for me. I want to be the person who believes them when nobody else does. I want to save kids the way you saved me. Wade read the letter 3 times, then he called her. I got your letter, he said, and I'm proud of you. Harper's voice caught. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't have done any of this without you, Harper said. You did this yourself, Wade said. I just gave you a chance. You gave me more than that. You gave me hope. Wade didn't know what to say to that. I'm coming to visit next month, Harper said. I want to introduce you to someone. Who? A kid I've been working with. Her name's Emma. She's 11. Her situation is bad. I think you could help. Wade smiled. All right, I'll be here. When Harper showed up a month later, she wasn't alone. A small girl with dark hair and frightened eyes stood behind her. Wade recognized that look. He crouched down to the girl's level. Hi, Emma. I'm Wade. Emma didn't say anything. Harper put her hand on Emma's shoulder. It's okay. He's safe. Emma looked at Wade. Harper says you help people. I try, Wade said. Can you help me? Wade looked at Harper. She nodded. He looked back at Emma. Yeah, I can help you. And just like that, it started again. The cycle of saving, of believing, of giving broken kids a chance to heal. Wade stood and looked at Harper. She'd gone from victim to survivor to helper, and now she was bringing him the next one. He realized then that this was Sarah's legacy, not the pain of her loss, but the lives saved because of it. Harper had been the first. Emma wouldn't be the last. Wade looked at the girl standing in front of him, scared but still asking for help. Come on, he said. Let's talk. They walked inside together. Behind them, the sun set over the plains, casting long shadows across the road. But the light was coming. It always did.